Today we're going to be breaking down and coaching a gameplay from an average Warzone player. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard. I'm TCaptainX, by the way. So the average KD, or kill death ratio in Warzone, is actually between a 0.8 to 0.9 KD. One of my mods, Cyberworks, is a lifetime KD of about 0.8, although more recently he's playing a little bit higher, about a 1 KD or even a little bit better than that. And that's because he's been working on improving and getting better. We have a gameplay from his that is a solo versus duos Rebirth Island gameplay, and there's a ton of really simple things that he can do that he would instantly improve on and win more gunfights, and a lot of this is going to apply to you guys watching the video. Now, why solo versus duos? Well, one of the best ways to improve is putting yourself in a situation that's a little bit harder than what you're used to doing. So if we play solo versus duos, obviously that should be harder than solos, but when we spawn in as a solo, we still get that resurgence timer and that we can keep respawning like you would in solos. So landing in, he's gonna be going to headquarters, and it is hot. There's a lot of people here, and he misses the window. So obviously an improvement could be, hitting the window. At this point, he needs to find a gun, and there, unfortunately, are no guns around him. Now, he's taking some damage, he's prioritizing getting plating, and all of a sudden, there's another guy, and this leads to this really just awkward fight, because they're both kind of plating, but he's gonna finish his plates a little bit faster, and ends up winning that gunfight. Notice how, again, he's plating back up, he's doing the right things here, but he needs to find a gun, and he's getting chased. Not really sure where he was getting shot from, but right now, his priority needs to be finding a gun. Finally, we're gonna find some guns. Get a BP-50, WSP Swarm. So one of the first things I want to point out to him that he does really well is his centering is very good. Centering just means when you come around a corner, his crosshair here is going to be at relatively chest level of where enemies are going to be. And as he comes around and checks to see if anybody's through this doorway, notice how his crosshair is kind of centered there. He hears footsteps, he turns around, and he starts to pre-aim with his center dot at chest level of where an enemy should be. As soon as he wins that gunfight, he kind of goes away, gets his reload, and notice again, every time he's coming through these doorways, he's slowing down, he's pre-aiming, trying to see if anyone's there. This guy is just kind of sitting in the corner here, but again, he had good centering. Another very small but subtle thing that he's doing a good job of here is almost every time he comes around a corner, he's sliding around that corner. Right there, he kind of goes into a jump, but the reason this is beneficial is in Warzone 3, unlike Warzone 1, we can aim while sliding. And this is going to be much more efficient to come around a corner so that we can slide and start to aim and center our aim down where somebody might be. So it's a good get into habit of every time you kind of come around a corner, come through a doorway, you slide and start to aim where enemies might be. Now at this point, he doesn't have very good guns, and he needs to get some money, he needs to get some better guns so that he can start kind of getting into the action here. So he decides he's gonna go rotate over to Control Center. And I have no problem with this. Control is a very hot area, but he's got some okay guns here. Nice little drop shot there. When someone catches you off guard, very, very close range, drop shotting is a solid option to do by simply holding the prone button here. If you guys struggle with movement, by the way, we do have a movement guide video that is on the channel. He's now gonna try to kind of switch some of his loot. He just spends a few seconds. He doesn't spend forever looting, but he takes some better guns. Takes an STG, make sure it's reloaded, and a Ram 9. Again, nice and slow. He's pre-aiming. He hears footsteps, not really sure where people are, so he's kind of playing nice and slow, just waiting to see if anybody's gonna come around while he's, again, centering with good aim. Now he found some custom guns. So one thing I wanna point out here about custom guns is because 9 times out of 10, custom guns are going to be better. See how it says custom weapon and it's kind of like this like reddish hue? Custom guns will have a different color than all of the other guns, so you want to keep an eye out for that. So now he's got a Superior 46, pretty meta looking build, and then Attack Eradicator, which is a very solid option right now. I would probably consider it like maybe the number 3 best long range gun in the game right now. Hearing some footsteps under him. Now, one thing he does there, which I absolutely love, and this is so underrated, especially when you're playing outnumbered, is that he's not gonna chase this person. He hears footsteps, he pre-aims here. Now this guy is running up the stairs, and he goes up the stairs. He could follow him through here, and he could try to just chase him, right? However, if a player can hear that you're following them or is just assuming you're going to follow them, all they have to do is turn around and wait, pre-aim their gun, and you're gonna walk right into them. So a general rule of thumb is do not chase people. Always take a different route and confront them from another area. The only time I would say it'd be okay to chase him is, let's say he broke his armor and he got him down to like really weak health. Well, then go ahead and chase him and try to finish him off before he can run away. That's a different scenario when it's okay to chase here. So again, notice how he's taking his time nice and slow. He's sliding around corners, pre-aiming almost every time he comes around a corner. He's gonna start hearing footsteps. And he thinks he's hearing footsteps right across here. Kind of does back and forth side canceling. Great chow. Oh, so close. Okay, this was really well done by him. And I think, and he literally says right there, I didn't realize there was two. He does a great job. He's slide canceling back and forth here, using some simple but good movement here to try and get an edge here. And at this point, he just kind of goes like, you know what, screw it. I'm not gonna keep going back and forth. I'm gonna send it, okay? And he sends it, and he hits great shots, and he downs this guy. However, during this gunfight, he's lost all his plates and some of his health. So he is maybe 100 HP at this point. And there's another player sitting right here who is, we have to assume, is still full health. Now he's going to elect to try to win this gunfight and try to kill him. I think what he could have done here is recognized, you know what? I am super weak. I took a lot of damage. Run out the door that is directly to his right. If he would have run out to that door, run down the side, he easily could have got plated all the way up by then, reloaded. Maybe this guy would have chased him out that way, and then he could have turned around and got an easy kill. Instead, he tries to be a little bit too aggressive and tries to get both of them. And he just took too much damage from that first player. But that was a great example of he was using movement, he hit good shots, just needed to be a little bit faster with the decision making to recognize probably can't win this fight, just simply need to run away and try to reset that fight, get replated back up. So at this point, he's gonna land completely somewhere else. And I like this. He is not gonna go try to land immediately back on his loot. He's gonna go somewhere way out of the map, and he actually ends up finding a custom supply box, a favorite supply box. So he's gonna get his guns. He's got an STG and a Superi. Now he's trying to loot here and recognizes the zones on him. He does not have his gas mask or anything like that. But he does have a utility box, and to throw that down, get both ammo and some plates. I'm gonna speed this up just a little bit for us. Now during this, he's gonna end up picking up a scavenger, and he's gonna just kind of keep looting, and he's trying to get more money so he can get some ammo and plates and stuff. One thing that I'm unsure if he realized this or not is he ends up looting a bunch of money, and then he's gonna end up buying another loadout. Now he had a loadout, obviously the spawned one, in right over here that he easily could have grabbed. This is a small thing, but I think it is important to note here. Once he does complete the scavenger, now he's got enough money. It's only $7,500 to buy a loadout in solos. He's gonna throw his loadout down. What I think he could have done here is he throws his loadout, but because this one's out of zone, I think he should have maybe ran back and grabbed this one and let this one stay there. Because if he were to die again, that would mean that he would have another loadout that he can land back on and kind of regain a lot easier here. Not a huge deal, but I think that is a small thing that we could point out. Now during this, he's gonna start getting shot at from above prison. Immediately once he gets shot, he does the right thing and he starts plating. And you might have picked up that you saw this guy kind of right at the corner. He's doing a very good job here of trying to play off of cover. He's not just running out in the open. He's trying to create a very small gap where he can just barely expose his body and get a shot on this guy. But that guy is also kind of playing smart, and he's not exposing himself either. Now, I think during this, he accidentally maybe grabbed his wrong loadout, and he's trying to find his other guns back at this point. So he finds his STG. Eventually, he's going to also find his Superi. But he's continuing to take damage. Again, he's going to try to play within cover. However, these guys are going to push him now.
Got gas moving in.
Again, great centering. I think he cracks both of them, but he ends up losing. So what could he have done better in this situation? Well, number one, him choosing this wrong loadout, he ends up wasting a ton of time. And this entire fight, he doesn't really have eyes on these guys. These guys are up on top prison, and he's kind of just roaming around, and now you hear them jumping. If he was a little bit more prepared and more ready, as soon as he jumped and you hear that parachute noise, he could have peeked out and probably picked up one of those guys and got a almost free kill on one of those guys and knock them, and then it would have been down to a 1v1. Instead, he's too late to this. They're already landing on him. I think they were kind of just behind the tent over here. Now it's a 1v2, and these guys push together. They play it the right way. You can complain about the stacking and all you want. It's duos. Usually in duos, people play pretty together as a team, and that's perfectly fine. So now the good thing is it hasn't been very long, And this loadout is not yet out of zone. So he is able to land on this loadout again. However, this team now sees him here. So he's gonna land low. He's gonna pick up another gun really quickly. He does something very well here. Notice how he played off the loadout here to where his head is barely exposed. So when he lands in, he doesn't have a gun. He hits the cache, grabs some good RNG here to get a pretty decent gun at BP-50. If he were to immediately grab this loadout right now, it would disappear and he would lose his cover. They'd probably be staring at him and fry him. Instead, he does something very smart here. He gets right behind the loadout, gets that first down. Now it's a down to a 1v1. This is the same duo he just died to. He doesn't have any plates or anything at this point because remember, he just landed in. So now he's going to be very quick. He grabs the loadout and he recognizes the next player is right here. However, he's in the open. He's not in a good spot here. So he gets behind cover. But man, now he's lost a lot of health. What he's gonna end up doing here is very, very aggressive. And I think maybe not have been the right play, but it ends up working out. He catches this guy trying to play or reload or something, and he just hits really good shots. And he's able to win that gunfight. The whole reason he was able to give himself a chance to win that was because of that smart play to knock the first player off of that amazing kind of head glitch he was on behind the loadout. And then he just hit good shots on the second guy and kind of was aggressive. But he got a little bit unlucky there in the second play because he was so weak. He was basically one shot from going down. So at this point, he's got money and he has a very smart thing. He's gonna go pop a UAV. If your goal is to drop higher kill games, maybe try to break your PR, keeping UAVs up is a huge thing. Obviously he knows this team is above him. In case you are a newer player and you're unfamiliar, the little up arrows that are pointed above the dots means that they are vertically above him by at least one level. So what I like what he does here is he goes around because those guys were kind of looking out this way originally, but he's going to take a long route around, take the zip, and notice how he immediately is able to pick one off while they're kind of surprised and caught off guard. He immediately is going to chow, but notice how he focuses on the up player. A lot of people get way too caught up on trying to focus on getting their finish here. This guy is clearly not making an attempt to self-revive. You'd be able to see him kind of doing that animation where he's like rocking, he's got the stem in himself. Now that the player that was up has kind of ran behind cover, now he's gonna take the opportunity to get the finish just in case he had like a self-res. He's gonna get the resurgence ping here, and what you're gonna notice is there's now a down arrow here. This means that this player has now dropped down below. He probably dropped into one of these open windows on the roof here. Now, I don't know if he picked up on that, but he does a good job here of he's, again, continuing to have good centering. He's kind of side canceling around corners. And I think now maybe either heard it or maybe he saw on the UAV, and now he's gonna go looking for this guy. He's checking all the little nooks and crannies to see if this guy's hiding. He has his SMG out here, which is the right thing to do in a close quarter situation, which prison's very close quarters. Not really sure. Kind of hearing some footsteps. Checking corners. And then now we spot him. Now he's back here, and this is that same guy. Notice how he takes the time to switch, though. Okay, now he's got him cracked. This is the time it's okay to chase. Once you've cracked your enemy's armor, you see that blue crack symbol, now we gotta go. You have momentum on your side. Do not allow him to plate up and kind of reset this fight. So he gets the SMG out. They're kind of both kind of going back and forth. This player is trying to plate. Cybers also tries to plate, but he does a really good job of canceling that plate when he needs to by hitting triangle once or Y, whichever controller you're on, and gets his gun out and wins the gunfight. So great job, and then he peeks the corner and gets sniped, unfortunately. I do want to go back here and break down this fight one more time because I think this is a really good job that he does here. Notice how, again, most of the time, every time he comes around a corner, he's centered well and he starts to pre-aim here. I think here, though, he gets a little bit lucky, I think, during this fight. I think it could have been smoother, but I think it was well done. Now he gets replated up. He's going to recheck here, and right here, you're going to see that sniper glint. What I would probably say here, hindsight 2020, is that as soon as you see this sniper glint here, I would have got away. As soon as I see a sniper glint staring right at me, it's like, I'm gone. Like, nope, get out of here, because that can happen. Snipers can one-shot, headshot in this game. And for anyone that doesn't think the Kar 98 one-shots, he was clearly full health there and went down to a one-shot headshot. So the Kar 98 one-shots, I pinky promise. So now at this point, he does something else that is very, very smart for the regain. He's gonna land back at HQ away from where he died, but he's gonna land on one of the biometric scanners. The scanners will give you a card anywhere from bronze up to, I think, polyatomic or Orion is the top #1. As long as you get silver or better, when you go and you exchange that to a buy station, which you can do this at any buy station, it's going to give you your perks and your lethal equipment, or both of your equipments, for your first loadout that you have set. So he does that, and then he's going to buy one of his guns, and then now he's getting kind of sent by this team. He's going to do his best job to get plated up, trying to see if they push. Unfortunately, it's a very awkward angle here. And this guy just comes flying around the corner, hits really good shots on him. A tough situation there. I think what he could have done better would have been maybe trying to get to this angle a little bit faster to try and be ready for this. And then recognizing that pretty sure there's at least 2 people above you, you're not full plated. Instead of just running up here, he should have stopped at the bottom of the stairs and just sat there and pre-aimed and waited for them to push. Again, it would have been a very tough fight for him to win regardless, because of the fact that he didn't have a great SMG, and he was not fully plated either. So again, he makes the right move though, of he's gonna go land somewhere else. He recognizes he cannot just land back on his loot. Now, one thing I think he could have done is he could have landed back on the spot where he died 2 times ago. Because maybe by now those players have left where his loadout was, so up on top prison. And he probably could have got his guns back up there, but he actually ends up finding somebody else's guns, and it's a good gun. He's got an STG build that looks pretty solid. I think the other gun was a striker. He's got some perks. Now these guys don't see him, and he's gonna end up hitting some really good shots with the STG. Now this is a situation where I think it's perfectly fine to prioritize trying to get this finish here. This guy has the shrouded perk that drops a smoke when you down him, and he's trying his hardest to get this finish. And I don't know if you guys saw, the other enemy was actually running kind of right in front of him here. So he's gonna shoot this first guy once he kind of fixes his, I think he was trying to mount here. This guy is running down to the right here slightly, and he's really trying to get that finish, but he can't quite get it. And now he sees out of his peripherals, this guy trying to make a buyback. I think what he could have done here a little bit better was taking that extra kind of like half a second to really line up his shots and make sure he was hitting clean shots and just get all clean shots there. Because I think this player was trying to maybe buy him back or buy a UAV or something and really expose himself. And Cyber, if he hit cleaner shots, could have got that player downed and could have kept this got it to like a 1v1. Now we clearly hear somebody land right above him. What he does here, I don't like. He jumps on the ladder. Do not do this. You see this guy's gun sticking up right here. When someone's directly above you and you're trying to climb up on a ladder, it is never, ever, ever worth doing. You have to just simply wait here and wait to see if they're going to peek over. So he, I think, gets wise enough to not do that. Recognizes that that player is on a pretty good head glitch behind some cover and that he's just not going to win that fight. So he is going to kind of withdraw from that. Going to throw that utility box so he can get ammo and armor. And then eventually here, he's going to get plated back up here. Now we're coming into the end game here. Resurgence is disabled. There are, if we look at the top right here, we've got 5 players left and 4 teams. So by doing the math, we can clearly know that there's going to be 2 solos and then 2 duos. No, I'm sorry. My math is completely off there. Ignore that. Now he's starting to hear footsteps over here. It sounds like maybe the next building over. Gonna loot a durable gas mask as well here. I don't like him rotating this way though, because he was already in zone. The zone was on the big living green building, and I think ideally he would have been perfectly fine to just sit there and hold people out of zone. This is gonna end up kind of burning him here in a little bit. But he is hearing these footsteps, and he's gonna play this right though, otherwise. He goes nice and slow, not really sure where this guy is. He pre-aims it, hits kind of like a little drop shot on the stairs. Great shots there to win that gunfight. Nothing fancy. It was just slow and steady pre-aiming. Well done here. Now he's trying to see, is there anyone else that he can catch rotating in? He catches a glimpse of a player over here in tents. And I think now he's recognizing, oh wait, now I need to rotate. Now I need to get back into zone. The problem is, he does that, he's gonna realize there is a team that has now taken over the main living quarters building. You can kind of start to hear those footsteps briefly, and he's got the perk where he can see the equipment. He's gonna, there's a claymore in there, or a proximity mine. Doesn't pick up the guy that's out intense, ends up shooting him here. Now he's got a durable, so he doesn't need to panic here. And he's gonna go in low, and he recognizes these guys have upstairs booby trapped. So what he does here well though is he recognizes, you know what? It's probably a duo upstairs. I probably can't push this. Also, zone is now rotating completely away. Now, he has a durable gas mask. A durable gas mask will last, I think it's like 12.5 seconds if I remember correctly. In the zone, it's double the time basically of a regular gas mask. What I think he should have done here is just pause. Zone is moving late. He's got a duo above him. He can sit in the gas here and do a late rotation and let them guys get out ahead, because when they start to rotate, they're going to be in the wide open. There's going to be no cover, and he could probably pick off both of these guys and make it to zone. Now, he doesn't have smokes or sims, so it makes this a little bit harder, but instead he elects to take a wide rotation in the gas, which I'm okay with. I think this is a good idea. The problem is, I think he goes a smidge too early, and he's going to get almost, I mean, he gets down to absolutely 1 HP. He kind of gets a little bit lucky to get away here, but he does. He immediately starts plating, he makes the cover, and he says, you know what? Now I have an opportunity to turn this into an early rotation. I'm going to go and I'm going to go take high ground. I'm going to take zone now and hold everyone. And this is beautifully played. I absolutely love this idea by him. If you ever have an opportunity to get to zone early and hold people, that's always better than rotating late, because now his rotation allowed him to do this. So now he's trying to figure out, where are these people? Where are they at? There's smokes. He's trying to kind of keep on this high ground. Now, one thing to be careful about here is I don't want him to overexpose too much. I don't want him to stand way over this ledge to where his whole body is visible and that he can just get peppered really easily. But he's just kind of sees him. Now he's going to pre-aim where he's going to come. Hits good shots. Now, let's add to something. He doesn't end up finishing this player. Now, I don't know if he knew this, but at this point, it is a 1v1v1. There's 3 players left. And there is, with him downing him, if he's not instantly getting finished, that means this guy has to have a self-res. So I would have ideally liked him to go ahead and take the few extra bullets to finish this guy. Instead, he's going to immediately turn and look for the next player, which isn't the worst idea, because in all honesty, let's say this other player was pushing up over here. He probably would have time to kill him and then go back. But we're going to watch what happens. Here's him. And he just kind of misses some shots. He cracks, he gets him close, but the other guy, I think, slowed down a little bit and just pre-aimed him. I think what he does wrong here is he gets a little overly aggressive, and he's still sprinting and sliding into this. Instead, he could have played this much slower and let this guy come to him. He didn't have, the zone was coming to him. Cyber could have literally just stopped and laid down and pre-aimed on this, and he would have ran right to him. So he just gets a little bit over aggressive. He kind of misses some shots, but it's all good. I think he did a really, really good job. He had the right idea. It just wasn't quite executed. So I want to say kudos to Cyber. Thank you for sending me this gameplay. But what's cool about it is there are so many simple things that he could improve with just like basic decision-making stuff that he could have very easily had this game turn into an extra 4-5 kills and a win as well. So guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please drop a like for me, subscribe. We do lots of different videos like this, best loadouts, settings, other guides to get better at the game, all that good stuff. I appreciate you all, and we'll see you in the next one.